Alrighty, welcome to the 156th edition of the MMA Circus here on BloodyElbow.com and live on YouTube. I'm Nick Baldwin. He is Andrew the Clown Kid Lawrence, and as always, we are your hosts for today. Andrew, it's been a while, not because you've been missing shows, but I went overseas, so it has been a minute. How have you been?
It's your fault.
It is my fault.
Yeah, let's, before we get into anything, acknowledge that this has been your fault that the show hasn't been happening. A rare occurrence. Usually, I was expecting last Tuesday for you to be here. I showed up. I connected. No Google Hangout. What happened?
So you're just creating the YouTube files all of a sudden? That's usually what I do, but...
Yeah, I'm sending them out to you. No, so where have you been? What did you get up to?
Well, we talked about it for like half the show last time, if I recall correctly, because there's nothing else to talk about. But I went to Italy and Greece.
No, if I remember correctly, you interrupted the show.
Yes, we were trying to talk about UFC London, the great card that was. But I just kept saying, hey, I'm going to Coliseum and I'm going to go watch UFC there. And you're like, no, nothing happens there. Blah, 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 blah. That was basically the last show.
So you saw the Coliseum?
I did. I went inside of it. It's pretty cool.
Do you think that it's plausible that the UFC could one day hold a cage event like we suggested?
No, definitely not.
Were you in there like sizing it up, being like, the octagon is this many feet, this many
Well, because the floor is not flat, like the underground.
They just build something level.
Yeah, I guess they could make a platform. I mean, it's sort of the same thing when in a hockey arena, when you have the ice, they just cover it up. They could figure it out, but the fact that there's no roof,
yeah, and
there's a lot of problems with hosting a live MMA event inside the Coliseum. Let's just put that right out there.
Yeah, greater feats have been done.
Have they, though? Really? I'm not sure about that.
Sure. Oh, come on. Send people into space and whatnot.
But Italy and Greece was nice. Have you been? I assume no.
No, I've never been to Italy, and I've never been to Greece.
And technically, we went to a third country as well, Vatican City. That's something I didn't realize. That
you get blessed by the Pope, or was the Pope even in town?
Pope wasn't there. He's probably hiding away from all the tourists, I would imagine. I think he was there. I think he was like in the Vatican, but we didn't get to see him.
Did you feel holier coming out of the Vatican?
You know what? I'm not gonna lie, the Vatican was the low light of the entire trip for me.
I love that. That's great honesty from you. I'm proud of you.
Well, yeah, like the architecture was really cool. Like seeing the Sistine Chapel was really cool. All of the paintings inside, very, very fascinating. But our tour guide for this one thing we did, she was really boring. She was really boring. And I think because we were standing outside, she was like telling us the story of something. Maybe, I don't know what it was, because eventually you'd start tuning it out. But we were standing in front of a poster for almost half an hour. Whoa. And so once that happened, then we went into the cool parts of the Vatican. But I was kind of just in a bad mood by then. And so I didn't really care. So
I'm like taking away from this basically that you let one small instance with this lady fumbling in front of a poster, and you decided to hate on the Vatican City just entirely based off that one little thing bothering you.
Pretty much. I'm very close-minded.
Like the entire trip was ruined.
No, not the entire trip. Far from it, but yeah, that one day was a long day. That was the day we did the Colosseum, the Vatican, all in one day.
What people want to know is, did you party? Partying? Oh.
Partying did not occur. We were too good for that, or too not good. I don't know.
No, too lame. That's what you're looking.
That's the right.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. This is a big week for me. In Brooklyn, just like segue out of talking about you, because this could become 45 minutes easily of you just talking about your school trip. But UFC 223 in town, it's a big deal. We got a lot of things happening.
And you're going on Saturday, I
am going. Yes, I have tickets. I'm going with like me and like two friends. This, as much as this is a big deal and there is some hype around it, there isn't like a greater buzz in town. Like the common people on the street aren't like, holy shit, I'm going to the UFC thing. But there's like a couple people who are into it who are going to be there, you know?
I assume the buzz is a lot buzzier than it was for home Jeremy, though.
Yeah, sure. Definitely.
I mean, it has to be.
Well, I don't know. Like, you know, like it's a big city. So,
But I guess
like, no events like affect the bubble.
If you're not an MMA fan, then
You're not hearing
probably
about
the
this in the
buzz
city.
isn't different because home Jeremy, Khabib, Holloway, it's all the same thing. If you don't know anything about UFC or MMA.
Yeah, exactly. But there is like a substantial, like, you know, combat sports culture in the city, and everyone are surrounding that knows it, you know?
You can feel it in the air.
You can smell it when you're on the subway streets. People are ready to throw down.
We have a dumb question about the subway, so maybe we'll regroup.
Can all subway talk? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
I'm curious. I assume you'll be meeting the great James Lynch again this weekend.
Yes, probably. Oh, everyone is definitely welcome to join us Friday, 7:00. We might move it to 8:00 after the weigh-ins. We're meeting at Uncle Barry's. Google it. It's 2 blocks south of the Barclays Center, so it's an easy walk. Come meet up with me, probably James Lynch, a bunch of people. John Jones is showing up. Josh Sanchez is showing up. Yeah, the cool people will be showing up. It's a Middle Easy meetup. It's a good place to hang out after the weigh-ins.
Have you met John Jones before?
Yes, John Jones I've met before. He's a cool dude.
I've heard he's a good guy, and he's all of a sudden a big MMA fan. So
everyone, you need to get an MMA outlet to cover you to start coming to these New York events.
How cool would that be?
Start being like an Eastern Seaboard meetup. You know, of the media minds.
Oh, I thought you were talking about John Jones because he got like Bellator took him to their last California.
Took him to Foxwoods. Yeah, how funny is that? You know.
Yeah.
Anyone who's been to Foxwoods knew like exactly like the red carpet treatment that John Jones received on that, and they were like, awesome. It's a fun time, you know. They comp you a room at Mohegan Sun. You get to gamble at the tables. You get drunk and watch some fights. It's a good time.
I have to say one more thing about my trip. Sorry, I hate to go back. I apologize, but this
is so terrible. Okay.
It might be funny. It might just be a huge facepalm. But on my flight from Frankfurt, Germany to our first time in Italy, I snuck accidentally onto first class.
Accidentally? How do you sneak accidentally onto first class?
So my boarding pass said 020B. I missed the second 0. I saw a 02B. And so I sat in row 2.
And no one questioned you because
no one questioned me. Because no one was sitting in that seat.
Exactly, because they don't sell those first class tickets a lot of times. Those are
no, because it was a small flight as well. It was like 3 and 3 or 2 and 2, something like that. But it made me wonder afterwards, why do not more people try that?
Yeah.
Worst thing that happens to you, someone says, hey, you're in my seat, and you go back to your seat.
You go, oh, I've just read the ticket wrong.
Exactly. I don't understand why more people don't try that. Not going to lie, but that was pretty funny. I had to put that out there. Okay. Anyways, back to you, back to Brooklyn.
You should have led with that, actually. It's a good.
You moved on too quickly, Andrew. I was getting to that, and then all of a sudden you're like, no, we got to talk about Brooklyn. But anyways, real quick, what's the weather like in Brooklyn? I'm curious.
It fucking snowed on the first day of spring, dude.
Really?
Yeah, it snowed. But what was weird is it melted by the afternoon, basically. All the streets are... There might be a couple snow piles here and there, but it's now going to rain, and it's been raining forever. It's going to rain all week. So it's officially spring in New York. It's raining constantly.
So it's well above 32, 0?
Yeah, no, it's 40, 45, 50 now.
You want to take a stab at what Winnipeg is right now? Fahrenheit.
In Fahrenheit, I'm going to go 28.
16.
Oh, how terrible. What's that in Celsius? -3?
-9.
9. Jesus H. Christ.
Yeah.
It's not even freezing out anymore here.
This morning it was something like -4, -10, right around there.
See, that's the problem with living up there, and I keep stressing it. That
every show now.
The extra few months.
The fact that it's April and we're in the minuses. It's not good.
Just got to learn to be colder. You need like what is it like lizards or cold-blooded animals?
Well,
They just
my time in Winnipeg is limited, so I'll get out of this this Arctic tundra very soon.
to a different Arctic tundra.
To Toronto, the other Arctic tundra.
The kind of less severe. But
Yeah.
do you want to talk about 220?
We should. We really should, because this is a great card and a lot has happened.
Yes, a lot has happened. When did you hear about the news that the main event was changed? And how many people did you have to hear it from to realize it wasn't an April Fool's joke?
So I was sitting in my living room at Easter dinner. We were hosting. All my family was there. I was sitting in
Nicholas
basically
was hosting. He was
a
carving the
circle
turkey,
with 10 people.
telling jokes to grandma.
And then I happened to look at my phone, and I forget what I saw exactly, but the first thing I saw, it was like, oh, crap, Khabib Ferguson's off. And so I didn't fall for, or I guess the opposite of falling for a joke. Like, I didn't think it was a joke. I just immediately knew that even though it was April Fool's, like, I know a lot of people were saying, even like hours after it was announced, oh, it still must be an April Fool's joke. But no, it never was. So yeah, I was Easter dinner.
There had to be someone, or like early in the day, who posted it as a joke, and then like later on it became news, and they're like, "Oh, holy shit!"
Well, I mean, I tweeted like 4 hours before it all came out. Tony Ferguson versus Khabib is happening this weekend, April Fool's.
Okay. Do you feel like you bad juju'd it?
The only reason I don't is because Ferguson tripped like a few days before. So I'm in the clear.
Already done. It's already over.
I can't be to blamed. 100%.
That's the weird part about this. How do we not, like, a dude tears his knee up to shreds and we don't hear about it until like 3 days afterwards?
Especially this close, especially like a week out.
It's terrible. Es terrible, brother. But what do you think about the replacement? Honestly, it made me. I'm kind of excited. I don't know why I'm excited, because I don't like. There's a clear path to victory for Khabib Nurmagomedov, right? But like, imagine if Max Holloway could do it. So I guess that's like the excitement for it. Like, I don't know. I have some crazy belief in the Hawaiian kid.
From there's a real good chance Khabib loses to if he loses, this is amazing, sort of thing. Like,
exactly.
It's not as competitive, not even close. I'm picking Khabib. I don't need to break it down. I think Khabib will defeat Max Holloway.
We understand why. Everyone does.
He's bigger. He had a training camp. He'll make weight easily, or easier. I should say, not easily. He'll never make weight.
He's a smashing machine.
I mean, and he's talented. I mean, he's a great fighter. He's probably the best there is at lightweight. And so I've been back and forth on whether I love it, or like it, I should say. Even like, the thing is, it seems like you're just throwing Max Holloway out there to lose.
I hope they don't let him just like take a beating. That's all I think about, is like, when it starts going south for Max, like, and he's in top position, he's taking shots, but he's like still in it because he's tough as hell. Like, are they just going to let him take a vicious beating? Because that could be terrible. That will hurt like the greatness that Max Holloway was having at 145 pounds. So I hope if it starts going south, there's a quick stoppage. That's what I want to put that out there.
I agree. That's the thing. I mean, people keep talking about, hey, Max Holloway's not risking anything, and in a way, he's not.
Risking an ass whooping that can severely limit his ability to defend the title for a long time.
He's going to be a UFC champion after Saturday night, no matter what. So that's a W. He's going to make a lot of money. So that's another win for him. He's going to be praised by fans for being a badass. So that's kind of a win, although it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But the big loss, if he does go out there and actually loses, is that the fact is his momentum is still gone. You cannot tell me that we go into his next featherweight title defense feeling exactly the same about Max Holloway, with him coming off a third-round TKO loss to Khabib Nurmagomedov, if it was coming off his 12-fight winning streak. The momentum still comes to a very...
Okay, so there's a loss of momentum, but there might be more of an interest in the storyline. You know what I mean? I think that you only gain an audience by taking a fight like this, even if you lose it. So yeah, people aren't going to be as excited about your next fight, but if you win that next fight, your momentum's right back. Boom, boom, boom. You're rolling all over again.
I just feel like his winning streak is so pretty, and to have it come to an end to
against Khabib Nurmagomedov,
he shouldn't be fighting anyways. It's just, I don't know, kind of anticlimactic in a way.
It is a little bit. You make a fair point.
But what you gonna do? I mean, he's gonna get a lot of money.
That's what I love about it. Honestly, it's straight up Hawaiian and BJ Penn of him as fuck. He's just like, who cares, man? This is what legends do. You take short notice fights. You do this.
Well, this is how you become a fan favorite. And I'm not saying he wasn't already. He definitely was. But this is how you build your name up. And if he does pull off the, in a way, unthinkable, like, just imagine. It gives me the shivers to think that Max Holloway could be a 2-division champion. Exactly what Conor McGregor did. Like a year ago or 2 years ago.
No, if Max Holloway beats Khabib Nurmagomedov, I will say that that's more impressive than what Conor McGregor did, beating, Conor McGregor knocked out Jose Aldo and then beat Eddie Alvarez. I don't know. It's much more impressive if Holloway beats Khabib.
Were against the same person. One was a knockout in 13 seconds that who knows what could have happened had that gone on for say 10 minutes, where Holloway put a beat down on Aldo and then knocking out Eddie Alvarez as the betting favorite versus beating Khabib as a huge underdog on 6 days. No, yeah, Max Holloway definitely would have the more impressive resume of title wins, I guess you could say.
That's the biggest thing here too. So if Max beats Khabib here, which is a big if, not only is his cash, his cachet and renown, he instantly gets that Conor fight, right? That he's the contender.
We still don't know that Conor comes back, though. I don't know.
Oh, stop. No, if Max does this, he comes back for Max. It all makes sense. It's a great narrative. No, it all makes sense.
I guess because he would not be a UFC champion anymore, and he'll probably want to retire as a champion. And so...
No, because he wants to fight, and he's out there making money. He's just waiting. Everyone forgets Conor's chilling in the background, recovering from a vicious... beating that he took from Floyd Mayweather. Some of those shots were hellacious. The dude wants to have a long career, and he's saving his chin. He's a smart guy. He's got the money to chill on it, So why would he
just had a kid? Exactly.
So he's just hanging out. But he's looking to have a fight. And if Max Holloway does this, God, that is like how you do it. That's a person he's looking for. He'll look at it as his BJ Penn. A good rival for him. That maybe they could have a few fights.
Well, and then imagine Holloway goes on to beat McGregor in the rematch, and then that trilogy would be one of the biggest fights ever.
Yep, of all time.
Yeah,
and Max Holloway would become one of the greatest fighters in MMA history. So there's a lot. We're just in fantasy mode of if Max Holloway
is just going to ruin all of these fantasies.
That's the worst part, right? We got this crazy Russian dude, and he can just maul you like a fucking animal. It's terrible, We can't have beautiful Hawaiian championships what else are you excited for this card?
Well, before we move on, if Khabib wins, and that's a lot of a smaller if than if Max wins, Khabib goes out there, becomes the UFC lightweight champion, and I still don't believe that the winner on Saturday will be the lightweight champion until I hear it. Until Bruce Buffer says and new UFC lightweight champion. I'm still convinced that they're just the interim champion.
Sure. Belts mean nothing. Do we do this all the time? We just do. I don't know. Just it doesn't matter.
Fair enough. But if Khabib wins, so say he goes out there, knocks out Holloway on the ground, whatever, decisions and anything, Ferguson has to be rebooked, right? We do Khabib Ferguson, hopefully.
Yeah, sure. We try to do that unless we have a Conor situation and we want to do that. I don't know. I don't see Khabib winning this fight and Conor McGregor being like, okay, now I fight Khabib.
No, McGregor's not fighting Khabib. That fight's never going to happen.
I don't know. It might.
McGregor's a smart man. You said it.
Yeah, why would you take that? He's definitely not taking that ass whooping next. That's not going down.
No, I mean Mayweather then Khabib. It's not going to happen. If Holloway wins because Holloway's a stand-up fighter and there's less to Holloway is an easier fight for McGregor than Khabib is. I'm not saying it's an easy fight, but it's an easier fight. And so he would probably take it. Connor, that is. But Khabib, he's never going to take the Khabib fight. We keep talking about it. Oh, let's do Khabib versus McGregor in Russia. It's never going to happen.
When has Conor McGregor in your mind become a dude who like doesn't take on fights?
That's a fair point because he has stepped up a lot, but he's also a smart person. He knows that, hey, he can make a lot of money doing other things. He can go, fight Floyd Mayweather in the octagon.
No, come on.
He can go fight Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is an easier fight than Khabib, and he's going to make more money for Diaz.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he do that?
That's all right. But the Diaz fight to me has always been like the one that's in the pocket, and that.
Well, the Diaz fight,
Connor's smart enough to hold it in the pocket until he needs a fight, maybe.
The Diaz fight is for the McGregor or for the money belt or McGregor.
Oh, imagine if the UFC made their own version of the money belt. Tell me, title belts meant nothing when the WBC fucking made a money belt. That was beautiful. That thing was hilarious.
Yeah, that really was a big, big, big gimmick.
Dog, because all title belts are gimmicks.
They are.
Come on, now you get it. All right. Speaking of title belts that are gimmicks, we got a co-main event, a real championship fight. Rose Namajunas against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Who do you think wins? First of all,
it's a tough one, but I think I'm going to go Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
We really didn't see much in that fight that they had, and I know that but Rose is really comfortable in the pocket and like trading in power. She got really good at it, and she caught Joanna. So like, I almost want to think that she's gonna catch her again. I don't know. I agree. Maybe Joanna Champion takes this one. Takes it by decision. Do you think that it goes a whole 5 rounds?
I think it could. I mean, it's so hard. It's so tough to call because, as you said, we really didn't see that much in the first fight. We know that Namajunas has knockout power. We know that Rose can knock out Joanna, but we didn't see the Joanna we usually see. I mean, we didn't see one of the better strikers, maybe even in the entire promotion, light up her opponent for 5 rounds. I mean, that's something that Joanna can do or has done.
But maybe can't do against Rose because Rose is really comfortable with people. She like steps into punches and like with head movement doesn't get hit and finds counters. She got really good at it. And that's kind of what she did to Joanna. So it'll be interesting to see. Maybe it was an aberration or maybe she can consistently do it over time. I hope that we get to see a longer fight, at least something that goes like 1, 2, or 3 rounds,
Yeah, I want some answers. I mean, I personally would like to know.
You're like fucking Mulder over there from the X-Files. I want some answers.
But honestly, I mean, we didn't see much in the first fight. I mean, again, we saw that Rose has knockout power. We knew that already. And so, and that maybe her striking is getting a lot better. I mean,
hold on. If Rose knocks her out in the first round again, in like on some slick shit like last time, then it's settled. Then it's done and it's over, right?
Yeah. I mean, even though we probably wouldn't see it too much again, you would still have to come to the conclusion that, hey, it's going to happen more often than not for whatever reason. I mean, I'm not the technical analysis guy to really see in 2 minutes of fighting why Rose will knock out Joanna 99% of the time. But if it happens again, I would assume that's the case.
It's weird. There's Felice Herring's fighting Karolina Kowalkiewicz, I think like down in the prelim somewhere.
Yeah.
I wonder if they booked like that fight as kind of a backup for if one of these girls fell out, but like they didn't do anything like that for this fight. That's interesting. But for the fight that actually had an injury, Max and Khabib, you would think like they would have like slid up, but like you can't move up like Michael Chiesa or Anthony Pettis into this fight. It doesn't make it.
I'd be down for Khabib Iaquinta, to be honest, but
Khabib Iaquinta would be fun. Yeah, that's like your best option is Iaquinta.
But it's
Like
still not a very
jumping
good
like
option because he's like number
a
10 in the
teeter.
world.
Exactly. Yeah. Jumping a hell of a lot of contenders there, but that's a good time. Yeah, that's a great matchup. We should see that.
The Iaquinta Felder one or Iaquinta Khabib.
Iaquinta Khabib I was talking about, but Iaquinta
Okay.
Felder, the actual fight that we're going to see is fantastic.
Yeah, it's an amazing fight. What's the next one? We got Renato Moicano versus Calvin Kattar. I mean, I'm kind of surprised they put this on the main card, but I don't mind that decision because I think they see something in Kattar because like he keeps pulling off
he's
these
going to be a
upsets.
Finisher. Yeah,
he beat Andre Fili, he beat Shane Burgos. Most people picked both fighters to beat Kattar. They were both, Kattar was underdogs twice in a row, and he picked apart both guys and knocked Burgos out. And so this is a fun one. Kattar probably wins. We also have Michael Chiesa, Anthony Pettis. This main card is really, really fun.
Yeah, the Calvin Kattar fight, and that's a question mark. But you got to think they maybe are pushing him. He has one of the worst nicknames in the history of fighting, the Boston Finisher.
Yeah, good to use some work.
Like, I get what they were going for because like they want to call him the Boston Strangler, which sounds dope, and but like also sounds really, really way too dark. You don't want to you don't want to be the Boston Strangler.
It's MMA. I think they could pull that off.
Yeah, but I don't know. You don't want to walk up to
I guess if you're like a mainstream fighter, you become a really popular guy. Big banners on billboards in New York City.
Boston Strangler. Check it out. Come meet.
It is 2018. This is the world of political correctness, and I don't know. Yeah, I guess that wouldn't work.
But they seem to be trying to get away with 1 in every 5 fights in the pay-per-views have been like throwaway recently. And this is kind of it. It's just like an action fight that has no real consequences for the division. Maybe there's a prospect in it, but it's just like, hey, there's a throwaway fight.
It's either, it probably just is a throwaway fight. Maybe the Optimist.
Because then the other two I think are decent caliber. You got Anthony Pettis.
They are.
And what's happening. And then I like Iaquinta and I like Paul Felder, and they're both kind of streaking right now. So that's a really cool matchup.
Although the Kattar fight is probably just a throwaway one, they had no other real spot for it. You could be optimistic and think, hey, they're trying to push Kattar and seeing how he does not on pay-per-view because no one knows who he is, but giving him that spotlight. So maybe that's what they're going for, or maybe they just don't know what they're doing. Who do you got in Chiesa Pettis? I've been going back and forth on this one, and I'm interested to hear who your side.
I'm actually siding with Anthony Pettis. And I know how that sounds.
It's a risky pick. No matter who he's fighting.
It's just a bad stylistic matchup for Michael Chiesa because Anthony's jiu-jitsu is good. I know like people, the big thing to fault with Anthony Pettis is a takedown, right? But like Michael Chiesa's wrestling doesn't lend itself to, I think, the style that people used to like control. And he has more of a Jim Miller style wrestling, and his jiu-jitsu game's not even close, I think, to as good as people had assumed because he won all those fights by rear naked choke. So it's going to be a rough time for Michael Chiesa to get into positions in this fight where he's more dominant than Anthony Pettis. And that whole time that he's figuring out how to transition into those better positions for himself, Anthony Pettis, I think, is going to be lighting him up on the feet. And it's just going to be an attack of jabs and kicks and all kinds of stuff to the body. And I think body shot accumulation, Anthony Pettis gets this done.
You think it'll kind of look like the Jim Miller Pettis fight from last summer?
You got it. You got it, baby.
You know what?
That went all 3 rounds, right?
Yeah, it did. I don't like saying this, but I'm going Pettis as well. It's not good when you have like a podcast like this where the unanimous pick is Anthony Pettis in 2018. But if it was 2014, totally different story. But I mean, the decline is real, but I just don't know if Chiesa is quite there.
Yeah.
And it's not that he's quite there yet, because I think this is basically the Chiesa we're going to have forever. I don't see him getting tons and tons better. But this is a super simple matchup in the sense that Chiesa is going to be looking to close that distance, close that gap, get inside, clinch him, push him up against the fence, while Pettis needs space to work his kicks to the body, to the head, etc. Work his jab, work his punches, work his game, work his MMA game. That is who Anthony Pettis is, and that's what he does in the MMA cage. But if Chiesa is able to grab him, maybe he does choke him out. But my gut feeling is that Pettis is able to keep that distance. I don't look at Chiesa as like a Khabib figure that, hey, no matter what, he's going to get inside. I mean, I do think there's a decent chance Pettis is able to play his game here and to get back into the winning column. But I haven't been a big believer in Anthony Pettis ever since he lost RDA. I actually picked those Andrews to beat him. I mean, I fade Anthony Pettis a lot. So for me to be picking him is slightly surprising. I mean, I was almost going to lean Chiesa's way, but
I thought about it. I definitely did. Because Chiesa also is a gritty dude, and he might be able to get into that position and just like take advantage of it and grit his way through taking a beating.
Since January 2016, I've picked Pettis to win one fight, and that was against Jim Miller. I picked Poirier against him. I picked Max Holloway against
Anthony Pettis soothsayer. You know Anthony Pettis' future. This is the one.
I got the Charles Oliveira fight wrong.
You got the blessing, Anthony Pettis. We've blessed you. You're going to win now. Enjoy.
The MMA Circus blessing will bless any fighter as long as they do an interview with me.
No, that is not a requirement.
I think it should be.
Okay. What do you think about Alec with Felder?
This is, other than maybe now number one fight I'm looking forward to. I mean, Khabib Ferguson was obviously number one, but now with that off, I mean, Holloway Khabib, not as close, not as stylistically fun. Iaquinta Felder is a firefight. I think this could be fight of the night. I think this will be a lot of fun. I was initially leaning Felder. I think Iaquinta is just going to box him up. I think he has better hands. Felder's a terrific striker. His elbows are nasty. His other sort of spinning shit is great when he lands it, but he needs to land it, and sometimes he's not amazing at, his accuracy is not the highest. I think Iaquinta is a really good fighter, though. When he fights, it's not very often anymore, which is really disappointing because I think Iaquinta could borderline be fighting for a title. Just skill-wise, I think he's that
right.
good.
I do
think
too.
He's that good.
When he's at his best. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's been at his best for a while, though. I mean, Jorge Masvidal fight, that was not his fight, so to speak. But the Iaquinta that knocked out Diego Sanchez last April, really quickly.
Of course.
And Iaquinta is a good fighter. And Paul Felder's been on a roll. I mean, there was a time when we thought Paul Felder was the next big thing after knocking out Danny Castillo, even after losing to Edson Barboza in that fun, close fight. But then remember, he lost to Ross Pearson, barely beat Josh Berkman, but now he's back on a roll. He's sort of on that winning streak again. Knockouts over Stevie Ray, just beat Charles Oliveira in a big way. This guy, he's on a roll as well, but I think Iaquinta is going to get it done.
Yep, I'm with you. I think Iaquinta gets it done. I really like Paul Felder, but I think he's been overachieving in his last few fights. And I've always had a super high ceiling on Iaquinta as well. He's always looked to me like a guy who could actually accomplish something. My hat's off to Paul Felder. After his losses to like Ross Pearson and stuff like that, I thought that he might not have a long career in the UFC, and he's really turned it around to kind of showed that he belongs out there. And it's hard to stay relevant for a long period of time at 155 pounds in the UFC. So he's definitely there, but I don't know. Iaquinta, I think, is a more special fighter. I think what we're going to see here is probably a discrepancy in hand speed, and that Iaquinta can just kind of keep it on the feet and, land in combination. It might get gritty and it might get tough, though. So this could be a fucking awesome fight, too.
I am muted. That is great. Okay, let's move on to the feature prelim. Karolina Kowalkiewicz and Felice Herrig. I've seen quite a few people just on Twitter today, actually. Like, I just scrolling through my timeline, I've seen a lot of people picking Harry again. I've been thinking about this fight a lot.
Why?
I think there's a good chance. I'm picking Kovacevic, but Harry is so much stronger. Harry is so, I don't know if she's bigger. The reach is identical. She's an inch taller, so she's not any bigger, but she's so strong compared to Kovacevic. I
don't know why people think that.
So you think Kovacevic is going to run through her?
Yeah, I think she's going to piece her up. What like boxers and strikers can do, you know?
Yeah, I think she will too. But I think when it happens, it won't be that competitive. Like, I think it'll be maybe 29-28 at the very most, probably 30-27. I don't think like Kovacevic is going to 30-24 her, knock her out. But I think on paper, Herrig has a path to victory. If Kovacevic can't defend the takedowns, this is Herrig's fight to lose. But I maybe Herrig just isn't. I mean, she's gotten better, but maybe I'm sort of overrating her a little bit. Ultimately, I do think Kovacevic gets the job done, but I think Herrig, there's a chance at plus 250 or so, might not be the worst bet you make.
No, I've given that this thought, and I think that this is just going to be Felice reaching her ceiling. She's become a really good fighter, but she's not, I don't think, at the level that a girl like Carolina is at. The stand-up just isn't there.
No, it's not. I mean, if she's going to win, it's by wrestling. It's going to be by taking Kovacevic down, staying on top of her, hoping that the referee doesn't stand them up, and that's the fight. Or it could be Kovacevic staying back, using her jab, using her hands, and
which is how I think it goes.
And that's the more likely option. So yeah, that's really all I got. Ray Borg, Brandon Moreno. I think this fight is being overlooked a little bit.
Of course it is.
I mean, the flyweights are always overlooked.
But it's in a good spot. But, it's on TV. It's going to be entertaining. A lot of people are going to be watching the prelims for this one. So it's a decent showcase, considering it is Ray Borg against Brandon Moreno. Like, two guys who are exciting at the flyweight division, but not like names that people are clamoring for. Ray Borg's just coming off of his title loss. Everyone's kind of doing their rounds after losing to DJ. And Brandon Moreno, I don't know. People thought that he was, had something going and was going to be a good prospect, but kind of ran into Sergio Pettis on his last time out. But two interesting guys at 125. I like Moreno here. I know that Ray Borg's, a real technical guy, and Ray Borg's a real technical guy. He's from, Jackson Wink, so they'll have a good game plan. But I like Moreno's unpredictability, and I'm probably fanboying out. So picking him because more at a heart than cold hard analysis. But I like him here. He kind of finds his way into victories, and he can take an ass whooping. And I'd love to see a new challenger for DJ. Even if I didn't give Moreno much of a shot in a fight like that, it'd be nice to see him get at least some pay-per-view shine and a decent paycheck.
Before you went off on some big tangent about Ray Borg, I was just going to say that, you had mentioned that this fight isn't getting too much love, not too much shine. It's on, middle of the prelims, although people will be watching. That's every flyweight fight. Even Demetrius Johnson. He's never, not in a
never a big deal.
No. But as far as rankings go, as far as fights that actually matter, like, this fight matters for the flyweight division. Ray Borg, as you mentioned, just lost to DJ. Brandon Moreno was in a main event in his last fight. And before losing that fight to Sergio Pettis, he was on a big roll. The winner of this is right back into title contention because flyweight is shallow in the sense that DJ beats everybody. And so,
well, for Ray Borg, it'll be a career determiner in a lot of weird ways, because is he going to keep fighting at least the top of the division? People like Joseph Benavidez and Henry Cejudo and characters like that? Or is he going to have to start fighting kind of like the middling guys in the 15 and the 12 ranks?
Where he was for a long time.
Exactly. But I don't know. He's probably a better fighter than Brandon Moreno, if I'm being really honest and technical about it. And what's Brandon Moreno? He's probably in the top 10 of all.
He's number 7.
Is he ranked 7?
Yeah.
Sure, that makes sense. So it's a good matchup, and it's a good tester for what's Moreno going to be able to do, and is he ever going to be able to be a contender? And we'll see if Ray Borg will keep getting high profile fights and thought of as a maybe one of the guys who could get the rematch.
Stylistically, it's fun, but I kind of don't like the fight that much, just because Ray Borg is a guy that will be around for a long time because he's young. He's only like 24 or 25. Yeah. And he's probably going to win this fight. Like, I'm picking Ray Borg to beat Brandon Moreno, but the thing with Moreno, you don't want. I don't think Brandon Moreno is a guy you want on a 2-fight losing streak, because he loses all the momentum he had before the Pettis fight. Yeah, I know he lost to Pettis, so he lost it already. But another loss doesn't help by any stretch of the imagination. And there was, right before the Pettis fight, Moreno was like a win or 2 away from a title shot, just because, again, it doesn't take that much to.
He was that Pettis fight away from getting the title shot.
Yeah, if he
remember when he beat Smolka, it was like it just happened in that first round, and everyone was like jaw dropped. It was a moment. It was like a fantastic.
It was one of the biggest upsets of 2016.
Yeah, and a definite highlight of like that card. And then who does he beats someone before he beats Dustin Ortiz. And that Dustin Ortiz one was kind of another one that was it was a great it was like a highlight of that night. I think it was like on Fox or one of these FS1 cards.
He also beat Ryan Benoit, but before the Ortiz.
Oh, was that? Yeah, that was who he beat in between them. But yeah, if he had beat Sergio Pettis, that was definitely going to be that was his moment.
Yeah, and so I feel like both these guys still have futures in this division as top contenders, but one guy's going to be on a 2-fight skid after it, and I don't know if that's where they want them to be, but I guess because it is flyweight, hopefully they don't. I mean, they better not cut the loser. They're not going to, but like,
no.
I mean, hey, they let go of Vali Bagutinov, Zach Makovsky, Kyoji Horiguchi. Anything's possible.
Well, then I hope that they do let him go, because it'll infuse more talent into the Rizin
pool. Hey,
Rizin pool, baby. Dude, Brandon Moreno and Rizin, he can fight with like a luchador mask. That'd be dope.
Yeah, or you do bring him to Combate Americas for like one fight. You do Moreno versus Eric Perez.
Get him to. Oh, I love that fight. Oh, that we lost Eric Perez to Combat America. That was a nice little scoop up there, Campbell McLaren.
Yes, Perez is finally set to make his debut at Combate. He was supposed to, like, way back in January. I don't know why that didn't happen, but I think he's fighting in May, maybe end of May.
Oh, that sounds dope. Dude, you know what was hilarious on the MMA Hour? Ariel Helwani goes, "I didn't know that Joe Lozon was fighting on this card." Like, literally, he was going down the card, and he's just like, "I had no clue." Like, and it seemed very genuine. That's a very interesting statement of like where we are in MMA right now.
Just that, someone like that doesn't matter anymore.
Just like, oh yeah, Joe Lozon, he's fighting in a card. Oh, totally forgot about it.
Yeah. Well, I was reading a few tweets earlier, and Ryan Loco had one of the most brilliant ideas I've heard, and is to do a video of Dana White. You throw photos of undercard fighters in the UFC in front of him, or even non-UFC fighters, and he has to say whether or not they're in the UFC.
Oh, I like that. That'd be a fantastic game.
And then there's another one, name every single UFC champion. I don't think Dana White might be able to do it. He would definitely forget a couple.
He fucks up middleweight.
Does he?
Yeah. He says GSP.
Yeah, maybe. Probably
he's hoping. He's like, in GSP, our middleweight champion. He'll be back.
He'll say Conor McGregor for featherweight. I would assume.
For every
flyweight Conor McGregor, bantamweight Conor McGregor, heavyweight Conor McGregor. No, women's bantamweight.
Light heavyweight John Jones.
Women's bantamweight would definitely be Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey. Yeah, that's hilarious.
No, but that undercard fighter thing, that's how you know that's how you figure out whether or not Dana White knows his stuff, and I'm thinking he doesn't.
So do you think Joe Lozon can win a fight?
I think he will win this Chris Gruetzemacher fight.
Chris Gruetzemacher, he was the dude from who got knocked out by Artem Lobov. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an ominous. Has he won anything in the UFC since? Probably not.
I'm gonna say probably. Let me take a look. So he's 2-2 in the UFC.
Oh
No,
shit.
1-2. He
Okay.
beat Abner Leveris, whatever that means.
Yep. There
And
you
then
go.
he lost both by submission to Chas Skelly and Davi Ramos last year.
Well, the writing seems to be on the wall. You think Joe Lozon can get it done? This is a barometer test for Joe. They gave Joe, an underhanded pitch as
You
possible.
have to win this fight, or else
Or you can't.
retire.
You can't. Yep, you can't fight if you can't beat Chris Gertzmacher right now.
Yeah. So the GOAT is back in the featured fight pass early prelim, Artem Lobov.
Oh my good lord! Right? Isn't it nice to have an Artem Lobov fight? Do you think Alex Caceres can get it done?
I don't know if he can. I've been thinking about
only
this
because Artem can take it. He takes a beating like no one's fucking business.
He's actually becoming a slightly good fighter. Like, okay. Like
Alex Caceres is good too.
He's sort of on the way down a little bit. I mean, he lost to some person last time.
He did lose one that he wasn't supposed to. He lost one in China to.
He's lost one of he's won one of his last 4. So
Jason Knight and Yair Rodriguez, those losses.
Those are decent losses.
Yeah. And then he lost one in China. He dropped one. Yeah, he dropped one to a Chinese dude. You know?
Yeah.
He got paid. What are you gonna do? Remember when he was beating up Sergio Pettis, though? Let's think of the good times.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, though. I mean, Lobov will hit harder. He might be just more meat and potatoes than Caceres, but Caceres is so much bigger. Does he use his reach well enough to beat a guy like Lobov? 8 inches in reach.
What about the kick game? What about when Artem Lobov's legs get kicked to death?
Yeah, Caceres just might have more tools in the tool bag.
In his whole body shots, maybe? But I worry that Alex gets cracked. I'm gonna get to see this live. I'm so excited. That's so stupid.
I'm gonna pick Lobov. I think I'm gonna go Lobov.
I'm gonna pick Caceres just to be contrarian.
Just to be different, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's basically. Oh no, we have to talk about Zabit Magomedsharipov. He is back.
Yep. The
future featherweight GOAT.
Everyone's scared of Zabit.
This guy's a good fighter, though. Like I like watching him fight. This guy, he's gonna go real far. I mean, I know everybody is saying it. I know people are high on him already. He's only 2-0 in the UFC, so maybe he'll fall apart. But I think he can go far.
I think that he just can't win because I don't like a guy with his like body type to be a successful mixed martial artist. You know, he looks like all emancipated and like a zombie. You know.
I think that's going to be the new thing, and I'm dead serious. I think being super lanky.
Yeah, and being
I think that's the next thing.
I don't want that. I want jacked people, God damn it. Okay, 145 pounds, you could be the lengthy guys championship. Everyone else has to be jacked up on steroids. Come on.
Alistair Overeem, paging Alistair Overeem.
We need a new heavyweight division of just like Alistair Overeems.
Super heavyweight, and you can use steroids.
SAP status, you know?
Yeah. I think we should probably do Gets It, Doesn't Get It.
Let's do it.
Alrighty. Well,
you're going to have to read them.
First one is the UFC for booking an interim welterweight title fight between Rafael dos Anjos and Colby Covington.
Doesn't get it, man. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah. The thing is, usually for booking interim title fights, I would say get it because for whatever goddamn reason, people are more intrigued because an interim title, a fake belt, is on the line. But here, they don't need it. This is a co-main on a pay-per-view. This isn't saving a pay-per-view. We already have Amanda Nunes versus Raquel Pennington in the main event, so they're not even booting that to the co-main. You also have Gaslam Jacare on there. You have Belfort Machida. That's kind of that's a good pay-per-view. That's a really good pay-per-view. You don't need RDA Covington for a title in that co-main event slot when you're not even going to market it as the main event. So just book RDA Covington. That's okay. I prefer RDA Wonderboy if you're not going to do the Woodley fight. But there's no need for an interim title. Doesn't get it.
Yeah, it doesn't get it.
Next one goes to the notorious guy himself, Conor McGregor, for his reaction to Tony Ferguson pulling up the Khabib fight Wasn't very good, not very creative. He tweeted yesterday, "These fools pull out more times than I do with my dick. Get it or not get it?"
Doesn't get it. That's disappointing. Yeah. Only because like the standard from Connor is pretty high that you can't just do some lazy like dick joke like that. Come on, B.
No, I mean the thing is, Conor McGregor has gotten a lot rusty or a lot rustier on the sidelines with his trash talk. I can't speak for his fighting game since the Mayweather fight, but man, his trash talk isn't getting better. It's not getting better.
Yeah.
So, Conor McGregor, you do not get it. Next one goes to Dana White for saying he will never book Tony Ferguson versus Khabib Nurmagomedov ever, ever, ever again.
Oh, shut the fuck up, Dana White. You don't get it.
This is just so funny to me.
It only makes people want to fight more. That's what this, like when Canelo went to a draw, when they rigged the fight so that there would be a rematch, it only made people want it more. Like people like this is how you do it. Don't be stupid. Come on.
I just don't get it because he knows that they're gonna book it again. They're gonna book it if Khabib wins. If Khabib beats
everyone,
Max Holloway,
nope. They need Tony to get a win. Tony needs to get a win somewhere.
No, they don't. No, he doesn't. Why?
Yeah, he'll need to.
Why?
What if also isn't his knee like seriously injured? He's talking about hopefully returning within the year. So that means he's at least out for 6 months.
Khabib's probably gonna break his something.
I don't know. Maybe, but you give Khabib the title and then you make Tony the challenger. But there'll be other new, fresh challengers because new people. It's 155 pounds. People step up.
Okay, so if Ferguson's not ready, then you do, I don't know, Poirier if he beats Gaethje or someone else. I mean, sure, but eventually Khabib will defend the title against Ferguson. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen as soon as Ferguson's ready to go.
No, there's still too many variables. It's the MMA game, brother. But yeah, definitely doesn't get it. Of course, they're going to be a main event next time that they fight. There's so much anticipation around it. Whenever they fight, it'll be a main event. It'll be a big deal.
Hey, here's one I just thought of. UFC for doing Colby Covington in Brazil again.
Gets it. Because
really?
because who gives a fuck if he gets hurt? It'll only be a more awesome story.
I guess that's right, because I think they can use this like sort of as a marketing tool.
It's the only thing he's forced their hand. He's decided to be the biggest douchebag in the world. So like, all right, now we have to promote you as the biggest douchebag in the world. Enjoy going to Brazil and getting hated on and like shit thrown at you. Tough shit. You're gonna have to deal with that.
But like the greatest idea to promote RDA Covington on TV or like in an advertisement is Colby Covington. Last time he was in Brazil, he got, mugged by the Brazilian fans for calling them filthy animals. What's going to happen this time? Like that sort of thing.
And number 2, Colby Covington show. I dig it.
That's what they need to do. They're not going to do it because it's not professional, maybe, I guess.
But it doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter.
Culture will do it.
The UFC is not professional, but I guess they like to pretend they are. I don't know.
They're smart. They know that the culture is going to do it anyway, so they can just take benefit from it.
Last one we got is also Dana White. He said recently that it'll take many, many years for Floyd Mayweather to be MMA ready.
No duh. Shocker. Yeah, of course it's going to take many. Doesn't get it.
Actually, I agree. And this is interesting because I think Dana doesn't get it because there's a 0.00001% chance Floyd Mayweather will fight an octagon.
No,
right?
It's just not going to happen. Come on.
And so if that 0.00001% chance comes true, if it happens, it's not going to, but if it does, anything is possible. Maybe except this, but anything is possible. You don't want to be, the promoter shouldn't be saying, hey, Floyd Mayweather is never going to be ready.
That's a good point.
He should keep on saying.
He should be the only one hyping it up. Yeah. You're
exactly.
Right. The only role of Dana White is to be hyping up dumb shit. So there you go. He gets it.
He counter promotes his product so much. And it's amazing to me that they're successful. They keep saying, hey, trashing his champions like Amanda Nunes. Oh, she wasn't sick. She was cleared. DJ shouldn't be doing this. So-and-so.
But I don't know. Almost at some point that I realized that like Dana White can play the villain. And that people will be like, no, Dana, you're wrong. Fuck you, man.
That's basically the point to which we've gotten.
There you go. So that's being a good promoter too sometimes.
Perhaps.
There you go.
All right, let's move on to dumb questions.
Do we have any dumb questions? Because I don't know if we have them listed out. Do you want to read them?
Yeah, but you need to think first.
Dumb questions.
There you go. All right, first one comes from Liam Hughes on the Twitter at Twitter shit. Go follow him. TWITERSHIT. He says, "How does Andrew feel about the subway system?" He.
Oh, come on. Everyone knows that I'm currently at Twitter war with the MTA subway handle. I think it's like NYCT subway. God, the subway's been terrible. It's gotten like progressively worse and noticeably worse in the last like year and a half. It's a consistent level of late that like it's affecting my life, you know?
All right. We don't.
So I'm upset, Nicholas. Of course you don't. You don't have these problems. You have a bus system, I imagine.
And it's terrible too.
Of course. All right.
Next question.
Don't get personal with me. That's really upsetting. I'm steaming.
Second and last, next question comes from Ariel Penn MMA on Twitter. Follow him at Ariel Penn MMA. He says, "What's next for Tony when he gets back? Does he get the winner of this weekend's main event, or is he lost in the shuffle when he returns?" Well, A, that's not a dumb question, and B, we kind of already talked about it. So we basically think, well, you think he should fight again. I don't. I think he gets the title shot against whoever's the lightweight champion right away, especially if it's Khabib. If it's Holloway, then the McGregor fight might happen. Who knows? But if Khabib does get it done, as we both think he will, I think you got to run it back if Ferguson's healthy.
Yeah, sure. Great. Ferguson gets the title shot. Whatever. And I guess it makes sense because we made the mistake of giving Tony Ferguson a belt, right?
To me, how Ferguson was the interim champion, trips on a cord, and then no longer is the interim champion, and Conor McGregor. We're having on Saturday night, 2 fighters will be stripped of lightweight championships. And crown another one.
Yeah, and one of them's the featherweight champion.
This is the most amazing thing ever. It's really unbelievable to me.
So stupid. If you ever wanted an event that just shits on the concept of title belts and why any of it makes sense,
UFC 223 title belts don't matter.
Yep, UFC 223. Fuck your belts.
All right, we're done.
We're done. Peace out.
Episode 156 of the MMA Circus is in the books. Thank you all for watching. We appreciate it greatly. If you haven't already, go give us a thumbs up down there and subscribe to this YouTube channel down there. I recently was able to change the URL. I could have done this a while ago, didn't realize that. But now you can find this YouTube channel, youtube.com/the MMA Circus. Easy. Doesn't have to be number, XQ, whatever it is. So youtube.com/the MMA Circus is how you can find this channel. If you have any feedback for the show, good or bad, you want to talk about Andrew's hair or something else, drop a message down in the comment section down below. And Andrew, remind everybody where they can find you and your MMA journalism.
MiddleEasy.com for all of my writings. Twitter.com @TheClownKid. Spell all 3 of those words correctly, and you get access to the world's best MMA tweets. Peace out.
Boom. All right, you guys can find me on the Twitter @Nick Baldwin MMA. You can find all of my writing over at bloodyelbow.com. I interviewed Mike Rodriguez, UFC light heavyweight, who debuts against Devin Clark this Saturday. Talked to him a few hours ago. That'll be up tomorrow sometime. In about 45 minutes, I'm interviewing Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who has a big fight coming up against Darren Till. So that'll be up also probably tomorrow on this YouTube channel. Might be the next day, but if I get my act together, it'll be tomorrow. What else do I got to plug? You can find the MMA Circus on bloodyelbow.com, iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, Google Play, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Overcast, Podcast Addict, and I think that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching. For Andrew the Clown Kid Lawrence, my name is Nick Baldwin, and we're out.
What up, sure?